Yeah, man. So you know Eglo?
Yes. We've been buddies for I'd say like probably the past year. I was seeing his name around. I think I like DM'd him like, hey man, like, awesome tunes, like would be cool to work on something one day. And it's funny because I actually ended up connecting him and Decline. So
Oh, no way.
Okay.
yeah, they recently did some stuff.
Like Space, they
Yeah,
did that track Space with Ed Solo and Top Cat.
exactly. So
One.
it was pretty cool to be able to put those great people together. You know what I mean?
We drop them heavy with drugs.
Welcome to the channel.
Man. Yeah, man. Wixie Pete, man. Good to. This is actually the first time we've met you face to face.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Right, yeah, man. So us in the UK, US DMB MCs are actually kind of rare. I can only name about a handful, if I'm being honest, yourself included. Mm-hmm. What is the DMB MC world like in America at the moment?
I mean, I think it's healthy because, I'm tapped into that. And I know most of, the US DMB MCs that are out there. Obviously the culture in the UK is so much bigger, but, I'm from Los Angeles. I think we have a thriving drum and bass scene. There's a handful of local guys that are really great. We got Dino, who's been amazing for a long time.
He's Eglo's
Armani
MC, right?
Rain from Atlanta. Messinian, myself, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different here. I feel like in the UK, the MCs are even more accepted and more appreciated. You know what I mean? Some people, in terms of a drum and bass MC, they may feel some type of way about that, especially if you're not super into the MC. Some people, they don't go for it. Me personally, I'm all for it.
It's true. It's obviously more saturated at the same time, though. But I think DMB MCs America are coming into their own in a lot of ways. Did you start with DMB or did you start with hip hop?
I started with hip hop.
Is that common in general for MCs?
I would think so. You know what I mean? I started with hip hop. That was like my first love, musically as like, a young man. I was in like multiple hip hop groups in like high school, getting my feet wet, doing all that. And it was actually my older brother that turned me on to drum and bass. He was going to raves and stuff before me. He kind of, told me about jungle drum and bass. He told me a couple of names to check out. And I went to a record store here in Los Angeles. This was ages ago. It was called Beat Nonstop. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. And this is when you could buy mixtapes, like actual cassettes, you know what I mean, at a record store. And I bought a mixtape by a local Los Angeles DJ named RAW.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with RAW. He's, been in the scene since the beginning, one of the pioneers of the sound or whatever. And it was RAW Red Drums. And I put that tape in my car and I'd never heard anything like it before. And I was totally hooked. And that really changed things for me, musically. I was pretty much a hip hop head up to that point. And then that day I became a junglist. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I like it. Yes.
I like it. I've got to ask you, Pete, where's the name from? Because a lot of people who I've seen we're working with you have said, oh, is he just called that because he likes his whiskey? I've got to ask, where's the name from?
Yeah, so everybody knows I used to love my whiskey. My life's a little bit different now, but I was a rager. I would drink all the time, party all the time, have a good time, and whiskey was my drink. And I was just partying with my buddy Connor one day, and we're like walking to the rave or walking to the club or whatever, and I'm drinking my Jim Beam, which is like the cheapest, shittiest whiskey you can buy. But, I wasn't too top shelf at that point. I was just getting what I could. And he just said like, yeah, Whiskey Pete. And I was like, okay, wow, that's kind of cool. And it kind of stuck, you know what I mean? And it's funny because it wasn't until a couple years later, people started to connect me to the casino in Las Vegas. There's actually a casino in Las Vegas called Whiskey Pete's. And this was before I even knew about this place. when you drive to Las Vegas from Los Angeles, when you hit the state line, the first little shitty casino that you come to is called Whiskey Pete's. So it's funny, every time anybody's driving to Vegas, they always send me a picture of that. It's kind of like a ritual now, you know?
Nice. So you said that your life's not like that now. So you told me when we were chatting before this interview, you told me that you're actually sober now, and you don't have any whiskey or any other alcohol or anything like that anymore.
No. So, you know, it used to be fun, you know, having a good time. Then it was fun with problems, and then it was just problems. And you know, for me, it didn't stop at alcohol. I had an opiate addiction, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with what opiates are, which is like prescription pain medication.
Is that like fentanyl and all that?
Thankfully, I was doing it before fentanyl hit the streets, which is like, you know, so scary now. But I started taking prescription pain medication, and that got really out of control, and I got completely taken over by that. And you know, I struggled for like many years, you know, with alcoholism, addiction to pills, and I just got to a point where I had to change things up. I had to make a decision. You know, I ended up going to jail a couple of times. That was a little bit of a wake-up call as well. You know, I had to go
do with drugs and alcohol.
What's that?
The stuff to do with drugs and alcohol,
or a product.
A product of the usage led to some, you know, nothing like no crazy amounts of time, but any time in jail is like enough for me to be like, okay, I don't want to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 0 days is best.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I ended up, you know, going to rehab a multiple amount of times. The last time I went, I was actually court ordered to go there. So like a judge ordered me to like a 90-day program. And I actually decided to apply myself this time, and it was able to stick. And it's pretty cool because now for my day job, Monday through Friday, I actually work as a drug and alcohol counselor. Like I work at a rehab.
Oh, amazing. I love it.
That's so cool.
It's cool, man. My life is really like submersed in recovery now. And it's cool because like I can relate to the patients because I've been through it. And a lot of people that were, you know, former addicts end up like working in the field. So it's a great thing.
I love stories like that, man.
That's really
great. Thank you.
One of our best MC friends in the scene, a guy called Camo from New Zealand. I don't know if you know MC Camo.
I think I've heard the name. I remember you saying this in the chat or whatever. He's a sober guy too, huh?
Yeah. He's one of the biggest MCs in New Zealand. He's really doing bits as well. He's
awesome.
Check out his
I love that.
stuff. I think you'd like him. He's got a very similar sort of flow and swagger to you.
I'll have to check him out. Maybe we can link or something.
How do you find being sober in an environment that's known for being full of alcohol and drugs? Is it really tempting sometimes?
Yeah, sure. So in the beginning stages, it was, you know, extremely tempting because sobriety is the hardest in the beginning. You know, thankfully, I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable in my own skin. I can go to a club. I go out often. I go to bars, and, you know, people can drink, they can do lines, they can do whatever they want to do. I can't expect other people to want to get clean just because I did, you know what I mean? And I don't, you know, preach to anybody, you know, it's not like you can't do what you want to do, have your fun. I know what I need to do. I know the decision that I've made to clean up my life. So in the beginning, definitely tempting because you'll have like cravings, right? You know, it's like, when you use things like opiates, it's like a physical craving for the drug. So it can be very tempting at times, but I just had to get to a point where, you know, I was comfortable in my own skin. I could go and, you know, I'm not going to let anybody else's shit affect me. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I used to think, you know, I used to get hammered, you know, before every gig. And, you know, I thought it was making me so much better. And, you know, I was ripping it, but, you know, in the scheme of things, I found that I'm a much better performer as a sober person, especially when you're on the microphone, trying to put words together to, you know, drum and bass, you know what I'm saying?
What's your relationship with your stage name now that you're sober? Because if I didn't know that, my immediate reaction would be to buy you a shot of Jameson at the bar.
Of course. And people still try to this day. And I'm like, no, I'm good. They're like, what, bro? Whiskey? Come on, man. What the fuck? So it's funny. I've thought about this a lot. And when I kind of got sober, I was like, do I change my name to Sober Pete now? Like, how do I work this? You know what I mean? And I just came to the realization that I have built up the name for an amount of years. I have a discography, people know me with that name. I feel like, starting a new name and a new alias can be great because it can be like a rebranding, a refreshing. But, I decided to keep it just because I felt like I had built so much on that and I didn't want to take away from that momentum.
No, it's still you, isn't it? Like, it's like getting a tattoo in a way. Like, it still tells a story.
It's still me, man. It's still me through and through. It's like, the whiskey's a small part of it. I decided to keep the name because I built on that name for many years and I didn't want to, just shut that off and try to start from fresh. You know what I mean?
Talking of that discography, what was it like working with a legend like Decline, and how did that come about, meeting him and starting to work together?
Yeah, Decline's awesome. Amazing DJ, amazing producer. I've known him for quite a few years now. I got introduced to him through my best friend, Keith McKenzie, who's another, amazing producer DJ from Chicago. At this time, Nick was doing, Decline was doing a lot of breaks. He still has a connection to that. I was doing a lot of breaks at the time. We met mutually through my friend Keith. We built up somewhat of a friendship. Was able to play some shows with him in some different states, and would see him at a Winter Music Conference, and he would support my tunes at times, and we just kind of stayed in touch. We don't talk a ton, but definitely got a good connection there, and I've been wanting to get on a tune with him for ages. You know what I mean? So I just ended up recording a couple ideas and just emailing them out to him blindly, like, hey, here's some stuff, like, check it out. If you think it's cool and you can maybe make something happen with it, awesome. If not, that's okay. Just kind of keeping the window open to a possible collab. And, thankfully he hit me back and he was kind of into the idea, and he brought on Hybrid Theory, which was some other producers that I was familiar with, but, didn't really know personally. And we made the track Suckers. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm obviously stoked to work with, Decline and Hybrid Theory. Great dudes.
You've got a lot of tracks with UK artists at the moment. Have you got any plans of coming over here, or have you even been in before?
Oh man, yeah, I would love to. It's crazy. I've been able to play all over the United States, Mexico, Canada. I have yet to make it to the UK, and it's really on my bucket list. I would really love to make it out there and touch some stages over there. I'm so, connected to the culture there. I have so many connections and friends in the UK. Obviously, I work with a ton of UK producers and DJs. So, I've talked to a couple people recently, and hopefully I'll be able to make something happen maybe, early or middle of next year. So I'm definitely be hollering at you guys
when you're
for
over
sure.
Here. Let us know.
Give us a shout, man, if you're over.
Oh, hell yeah, man. We're going to hang, man. We're going to rock the spot for sure. We got to, do the damn thing. But I would love to make it out there soon, and definitely on the bucket list.
Amazing.
Hey, this has generally been one of the best that we've done of these. Just before we wrap up, what have you got coming up, Claire, like release wise?
Yeah. So thankfully I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now that I'm really excited about. I just had a track come out last Friday on Night Bass with Event Horizon and Hans Glader. It's just like a cool spacey house tune. Night Bass was one of my bucket labels that I wanted to release on for a while, so I was stoked to be able to do that. This Friday, I have a tune coming out with my buddy Tingu. Are you guys familiar with Tingu?
I got that on promo yesterday. It's really good.
I know.
There you go. Boom. Yeah, I love it.
Is it Tengu? Tengu.
Tengu.
Yeah,
I did it last night. It's really good. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's coming out this Friday. on Korsakov. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that label.
Yeah, we've got 2 tracks in one.
Yeah, we've got a couple of tracks.
So I'm really excited about that. The week after that, I've got another one coming out on Play Me Records, which is, Reed Speed's label. She's been a longtime friend for many years. That's with 2 Polish producers named Tesserax and Aniki. And then obviously I've got the track coming out with you guys on your new full-length LP, Stars Align.
September 30th, Blowback.
Yes, man. September 30th. Very stoked about that.
Well, and
lastly,
16th
what was that?
For the Blowbacks. Blowback's coming out on the 16th.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, when we air this, it'll be the
30th?
15th, so it'll be tomorrow. So go and buy it at midnight, everyone.
Yeah. It's coming out tomorrow.
It's coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow when the video
out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sweet. Awesome. Stoked, man. Yeah, and thank you guys, for putting together an amazing track and being opening to, collaborating with me, and I'm really stoked with how the tune came out. And lastly, I definitely want to mention something else I've been working really hard on. September 23rd, I think it is, or end of September, I'm dropping a 4-track hip-hop EP that I've been working really, really hard on. It's called Blood Moon, and it's pretty cool because I'm actually relaunching my once defunct label, Switchblade Recordings. So I had a label, 6-7 years ago, was able to put out a lot of stuff, but I was really burning the candle at both ends. So I kind of put the label on the back burner. So I'm really excited to announce my first new release on my, revamped label is going to be my 4-track hip hop EP, Blood Moon. So keep an eye out for that for sure.
Nice one, man. Well, what are your socials so everyone can follow you?
Yeah, it's Instagram is Whiskey Pete OG. That's WHISKEY Pete OG. Twitter is just Whiskey Pete. Trying to be more active on there. Let's see, soundcloud.com/Whiskey Pete MC. And I had to bite the bullet recently. I got a TikTok now. I am Whiskey Pete on TikTok. Nice. It's like a full-time job keeping up with these socials, man. But we gotta try, man. We gotta try.
I feel like that, and I'm in a team of people. I don't know how I'd feel about a solo artist.
Man, I'm telling you what, man. And it's like, as soon as you get used to something, it's like it changes or something else pops up. It can be difficult at times, but we just keep pushing, right?